Selling a vacant home can be a challenge, but staging it the right way can make all the difference. Did you know that staged homes often sell faster and for more money than unstaged homes? Let's learn how to turn an empty house into a buyer's dream home and maximize your sales price. Selling a home isn't just about putting up a for sale sign. It's about strategy, marketing, and negotiation. But how do you know if you're making the right moves? I'm Judy Jernigan, recognized among the top 5% by the Atlanta Realtors, and your host of How to Sell Your Atlanta Home with Sage+Grace, Smart Homeowner Strategies, Successful Real Estate Sales. With a background in broadcasting, negotiation, and education, I bring a unique perspective to home sales, helping homeowners sell faster for top dollar and with less hassle, while understanding not just the financial side, but also the logistical and emotional considerations of a move. This show helps you plan ahead, navigate the market, and work more effectively with a realtor like me. You'll get expert insights from my guests, plus real actionable strategies to sell with confidence. Now, here's the show, moving you forward with sage advice and grace. Welcome to How to Sell Your Atlanta Home with Sage and Grace, Smart Homeowner Strategies, Successful Real Estate Sales. I'm Judy Jernigan, founder and team lead of Sage and Grace Realty Group and a partner at Clario Real Estate. I'm a licensed broker in Georgia and North Carolina. I help homeowners achieve their real estate goals with strategies that make the process smoother, faster, and more profitable. Today, I'm thrilled to introduce you to Krisztina Bell, Atlanta's vacant home staging expert with 20 years of experience and a passion for transforming vacant spaces into homes that home buyers fall in love with. Krisztina is the founder of No Vacancy Home Staging and a leading home staging company. Her work has been featured on HGTV and in the New York Times and Realtor Magazine. And her simple, classic approach to staging has helped countless home sellers achieve success.
Let's dive in. So let's start in the very beginning. What is home staging? Well, we do have to make a distinction here, of course, because there's a difference between home staging and, of course, decorating a home. This is obviously staging a home to sell. And so we're neutralizing the space, taking a little bit of that personality out of the home. A seller's very attached to their own, but now they need to kind of look at it from a buyer's perspective. Yeah. So it's a little bit different. Decorating, putting personality in, home staging, taking it out, and of course, trying to get the home nicely staged, neutralized to appeal to a broad range of potential buyers, of course. Yeah.
So why is staging a vacant home a home better? People have packed up, they've moved out, there's nothing left in it. Why is staging important?
It's a really important and vital marketing tool, of course, because there's many benefits to staging, as you know. We of course want to show buyers how to lay out a space. So when it's vacant and empty, they're a little unsure if maybe a couch would fit or maybe their bed would fit in a room. And so other benefits too is that if it's a dated home, maybe somebody has lived in the home for a long period of time, we need to maybe do some updating. It's easy to update light fixtures, hardware, things of that nature, maybe refinish flooring. And maybe they've moved out. Maybe it was an estate situation. Mom or dad is being moved into assisted living of some kind. There's a lot of that happening right now these days with our aging baby boomers. And so bringing furnishings in that's tasteful and showing off the features of the home. Whereas maybe if there's things in the home that are not just dated, maybe need some renovation, we kind of tend to distract from that utilizing home staging when we bring in furnishings into a vacant house. Of course, it adds value too. Remember that. We definitely want to make sure that you get a good appraisal value for the home as well. And staging really does help with that, not only interior wise, but also exterior wise too, because of course the curb appeal is very important. You touched on a lot of things there. Yes, a lot to soak it. Yes, a lot to soak it.
Let's get that. First, you mentioned like changing light fixtures.
Yes.
What are some of the things beyond furnishings? A homeowner's packed up, they've moved out, they want to sell, make sure their home shows in the best light. They're probably not interested in remodeling per se.
No.
What are some of the smaller things easy that they might want to consider doing? So
Sure.
for home sure.
Sure. And sometimes sellers can be a little stubborn. They don't want to put that money back into the house, of course, which is the reason why I teach a paint CE class to real estate agents, but also I have some sellers and couples that come in and take the class. They want to learn more, like, what is it about paint? Paint is actually the number one recommendation because it's the least amount of money spent for the greatest return. Paint's very inexpensive. I'm a big Sherwin-Williams fan, so of course we love alabaster is the number one paint color. Now we might see some beiges coming in. It's trendy, but a lot of people are still using the warm color whites. They're really good. It's an all creamy white. Yes, it is. Alabaster is an all creamy type white. Definitely paint is the least expensive. Now, when you get into light fixtures, you could do anything. Metals are in. It's very trending right now. The golds, the brushed, actually more like the brushed brass. But a lot of people are still doing the black and whites. Hardware is another thing too that could be updated. Keeping it simple though, light fixture, reason why you might want to change that. Maybe it's just too traditional, too much, too heavy. Maybe you want something more simplistic. That's the great thing about staging is you want to keep it simple, but also attractive and neutralize as well to obviously attract a broad range of potential buyers.
So we talked about paint is something to consider. Yes, changing light fixtures is something simple to consider. And I have a good human. You can help people with that.
Yes.
And hardware. Talk a little bit about hardware.
Hardware, kitchen hardware in the bathroom, updating that, back to the light fixture I do want to mention. Sometimes you're like, I'm not going to spend the money. I don't want to buy one. Maybe there's a really not so great looking one in the dining room. If there's enough windows and lighting, then just cap it. You don't really need to buy it. Let the buyer go ahead and maybe spend the money on buying their own light fixture. So that's an inexpensive way and budget friendly as well. Again, paint being another. Hardware is just more, maybe making it more current. Maybe it's kind of dated hardware in the kitchen. Maybe they're going to repaint some of the wood cabinetry, maybe to a white color. Then definitely replacing it with updated hardware. Like I said, the metals are kind of in, but brushed silver is simple, easy. It's always going to be around if they don't want to kind of pick something out. But that's what's nice about home stagers that we have on our team is that they come out and they are designers too. So they can kind of help with that selection possibly as well.
Okay. Yeah. Um, you mentioned outside staging as well as inside. You talked a little bit about curb appeal. What are some things you do to help?
Herb appeal is landscaping very important. Obviously, pressure washing is good. Right now, there's a lot of leaves that have fallen down and definitely blowing all the leaves off. Make sure the gutters are cleaned out, things of that nature. As we head into spring here soon, because it sounds crazy, but we'll head into the spring season, real estate season. Definitely having fresh flowers on each side of your door, possibly a new welcome front doormat as well. And, make sure those street numbers are visible. Right now, it gets a little darker at night. And so making sure it's well lit so that if somebody has an evening showing, that's also important too. Landscaping is big.
People, I love that you mentioned the front door because most people go in and out of homes right at the front door. And they spend not an unusual, but an extra amount of time standing with the real estate agent at the front door while the agent is getting that lockbox open.
Yes.
So having that front porch area or the
Freshly painted front door, it's the first impression. And it is a lot of time. It is. It is. And they hope they're building up their anxieties when they first walk in. You don't want to disappoint them too. Hence, the staging on the inside of the home is just as important as well. So you're kind of setting that expectation at the curb, and hopefully it's going to keep going as they enter their home. But also, it's there when they come in that you're creating that emotional connection with staging as well.
That's really as this, right? You want people to be able to emotionally get excited and be able to see themselves living there.
Right. Exactly. Another benefit of staging. Yes.
So you talked about light and fixtures. How important is light overall? Natural light, bright light, being able to have do people like a home where it's dark and cozy and private, or are they going to want big, bright, built-in?
Well, as you can see, we're standing in the house for those that are not on watching video wise, but listening. and there's no windows and there's no curtains, there's no nothing on these windows here. So we're letting a lot of light in, but we're leaving it very simple, clean lines. It works really well if you have a good professional photographer that knows right now would probably be a little bit too bright and might wait a little bit, maybe early morning or maybe in the afternoon to maybe take photos so that the lighting isn't too much because we got a lot of bright light coming in this home in particular. But we actually recommend when it comes to staging removing heavy draperies. And if you leave the rod up, that's fine. Don't worry about it. That is not going to make or break a sale. But the heavy draperies, take them down and just make for, again, clean lines and bring more light into the home as well. And hence, landscaping is another biggie because we cut back bushes and trees a little bit lower than your windowsill. Maybe that also helps too. So hence why we emphasize the exterior.
So once a home buyer puts in, they can put up their draperies for privacy. But yes, during showing, getting your home ready to sell, open it up, bring in the light.
Yes, bring in more light, the better. And then having mirrors that we bring into reflects some of that light as well, and just makes the space look larger too. It really does.
Make sure all the like fixtures work. I have working light bulb, working light bulb. You can turn on all the lights and
Warm lights, it definitely we bring in lamps. Obviously, agents or sellers put in light bulbs in the lamps. Again, that is a benefit when you're working with your photographer as well.
and warm lights.
Yes, warm light was so important.
Yes. You explain what you mean by that.
Warm lighting is much better. It creates kind of more kind of warm and environment, not so cold, especially at a vacant house. And also works really well for photography too.
It's going to be the yellow golden glow,
Yeah,
not the blue tops.
blue toes, exactly. And that's correct.
So we talked about how you mentioned property values and selling the home for more when a home is staged. I knew a soldier in another state many years ago who lived and worked in one neighborhood in particular. And her goal was every time a home sold, she was selling it for, she was beating her own personal record of selling in price per square foot, increasing it just by the value of her staging. So she was really personally, single-handedly impacting the property values in her neighborhood by making sure every home sold for top dollar. Do you want to talk a little bit more about how staging does help us?
You want to increase the appeal, not lower the price point. What we want you to do exactly that basically is what you just said in a nutshell. And so that's what staging is all about. So what's happening when we get close to the end of the year? A lot of people are hesitating right now to stage, but I hate to tell you, but I think 2025 is going to be a very busy year for all of us. People have been holding out. We are past election. We are past, everything else, interest rate, whatever. People need to move on with their lives. And so now, as I mentioned, a lot of people are hesitating, but we're already getting people calling in to stage their homes. And then a year, they're ready to go. They need to sell. They need to move on. And investors and builders need to flip houses. And there's a lot of buildings still continuing on here in Atlanta, being that we're still a top 10 city to move into, which is exciting. It's very exciting, keeps the real estate market active. But I would prefer somebody stage a house than lower price. And the staging needs to happen, as you know, at the beginning of the listing, not after the fact. Unfortunately, we get some of those, but that's okay. You could take it off the market. You could change agents if you want, whatever. But from a marketing perspective, you need to at least refresh the listings if they've been on for a while, especially not getting any activity. And then go ahead and stage it, have new photos taken, and get a new listing and up in there. Because it's really another benefit of staging. It's all about the photos. It's about telling the story of the house now. We're doing video right now in this home. And so you've got Instagram, TikTok, social media. Believe it or not, a lot of people go online to look at houses, and those videos can be very important and sell a home.
We really been putting coming out of the gate strong, having all the pictures, all the videos, the house, curb appeal, ready to go from a day one. Yes, you're going to have the most eyes on the listing.
The first 2 weeks in the exam radical, very dark, easy. That's up easy into getting it. I think do it all. Have it absolutely. Video's been amazing. We staged at the house, and as soon as they put up that video up on Instagram, it was like 4,000 views later. Um, you know, football player that's going to be on the team here in Atlanta ended up buying the house because maybe his wife or his son or daughter saw it. The teenagers are pretty active on the social media too, and they see a house, they go, "Mom, let's get this. So it's kind of fascinating to see, but it is all about telling a story. It's the photos that are the most important factor. It's what drives that buyer traffic to the property. They want to go see it. And so hence the curb appeal of walking in. If it's exactly what they saw, then they're gonna love it even more, of course. But again, a benefit of CG.
So let's talk soon about the process, how we go about making staging happen. But before we leave the notion of why it is valuable, could we talk a little bit about how it helps define spaces, especially with the open concept homes that are popular now? People don't always, you mentioned this earlier, know what side bed will fit in the room or exactly what to position where in an open, great room.
But when it comes to staging, we try to show how to lay out a space at least one way, but also it's kind of tricky because we're laying out the space to show, but also for photos as well. And then some people are particular, we won't want to hide the fireplace, for example, we want to emphasize. So I would even, maybe it's even take away these two chairs and it would open it up more. But again, we also do queen size beds when we're staging master bedrooms. And sometimes we know that a king size bed can fit, but at least it shows the buyers a way that they could fit their larger bed, but also, a queen size. So again, it's showing out in defining the rooms because now there's a lot more flex spaces as well. And it's those flex spaces too. So in here, we've got a living, we've got open to a dining, but we also have a wet bar and a big entry area as well as breakfast area. So this is all kind of looking into each other. And we have to get to the point where we define those spaces. And bringing the furniture in actually helps with that. Also, too, some people might think, oh, well, but the house looks big enough, or the rooms might be very small and the house is small and they don't want to bring furniture in. They think the furniture might make the house look smaller. When that's wrong. Actually, it makes the face look larger if you bring furnishings into a smaller home. So it's the opposite of what people might think.
I was with buyer clients last weekend and they saw two homes with very similar floor plans and two primary bedrooms, two primary suites. And the first one, they were like, oh, this bedroom's just too small. It was completely empty. The next time we went in, and like, oh, this one that had a king size bed in it, this is the size bedroom we're looking for. Those two bedrooms, exact same size here.
But it's a visual thing. And again, that's why mom staging is there's a method to the madness, but it's a marketing tool tactic. And all is visual. Yeah. So
Do you feel comfortable speaking to the return on the investment that people get? We talked about how it's going to sell faster and for more money.
yeah, it's tough to put a percentage on it. Yeah, because I wish it was apples to apples because every community is different. This we're in a hot area of town right now at Brookhaven, Georgia. So, things sell very quickly here. For more money, I will say things were selling to 50,000, 100,000 over the last couple of years, but that's not going to happen anymore. Obviously, we're now coming into more of the normalization of the market, which we have felt. So, maybe a 5 to 10 or 15. It just depends again on the neighborhood. And of course, it's going to be faster, less days on market, more too.
So we've explained to people some of the benefits of home staging. What is the process? They've decided, all right, my agent, I want to work with my real estate agent to get my home staged. We call you. What happens? What's the process?
Typically, we can get kind of a tentative quote, or like we can send out one of our home stagers. Professional home stagers come out; they're all interior design background, and they come out, kind of walk through the property, and focusing on those main rooms. So when people ask, "Well, how does your quote process work?" and all that, we focus. Let's start from the beginning. Where you walk in, you see a living, a dining, a kitchen, and then a primary bedroom and two bathrooms. That's kind of what we call the base. And then breakfast, office, and family rooms and all that is extra areas. It depends on, what is on the main floor and what are we kind of looking at when we first walk in. And so that's kind of what we focus on. And that stager's going to walk room by room and explain that. And also, they had an iPad or their phone with them, and show pictures of the furnishings that we would recommend to bring in because we have a couple different packages.
So what furnishing styles? Do you always just do modern, simple style or does a different home call for a different style? What?
Well, the trends now have leaning toward that simplistic, contemporary, modernish. but everybody's idea of contemporary modern is different, as you know. I tried to stay in the middle range. We call it more of a transitional, but we can tweak the furnishings and the decor to make it look more contemporary or look more mid-century or look more modern, so to speak. When somebody does a modern home like this one, for example, we've actually done a little bit more contemporary than this. I usually this is pretty close to what you get, but I don't call it contemporary. I call it soft contemporary. Again, we want to appeal to a broader range and not make the buyers feel like they have to buy specific furniture in order to live in the home. We want to make it more, which I think these days the agents have been asking more of. They used a staging company that brought in maybe super modern furniture, but it was too stiff. And so they call us in and go, we want something more warm and inviting, more softer approach. That's what people are looking for, especially now the buyers, these or millennials, I should say, are very particular and they love the bells and whistles of the lighting and the hardware and all the cool trendy. But they're also looking for that warm, cozy feeling. Can they entertain? Can they bring family? Because obviously we know the dining area is really the kitchen island these days, and the front living formal living rooms are more the office. Yeah. And so again, we try to have transitional style furniture that's flexible that could go from one property to another property because we do condos, lofts, studios. I mean, we're living in the city of Atlanta, so it ranges all the way up to a mountain house or a lake house too. And so our furnishings have to be that flexible.
I was hosting an open house many years ago in a condo that had floor to ceiling windows, beautiful views, had been staged by, I don't know why. It had this bright red, huge chair as part of the living room staging. And everyone who came into the open house commented on this chair instead of the views and the finishes and the beautiful countertops. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, hence, if you see as we're standing, for those of you that are watching the video, yes, the furnishings look very neutral. Again, you have to be careful with trends. This is kind of what I talk about sometimes on podcasts with with the NAR and some other friends of mine. I'm like, you just have to be really careful with those trends. Decor wise, we can change up the trends. I just don't like to get into the colored furniture and things like that. Now, that being said, and colors obviously making a comeback. You might see some more painted walls in different colors instead of black and white here soon. But again, you don't want to distract the buyers. We bring in color through artwork, the more expensive luxury type items, the throws, the animal skin rugs. Maybe there's a touch of color, a green in here. The green is very popular right now here in Atlanta. And again, I always tell people we bring color in through the pillows, the rugs, the throws. And for us, artwork is a big deal. I'm an art background major, so we hand selected a lot of the new art. We just placed another large order of artwork that is kind of fun, has pops of color. Again, the reason being is that it's very attractive on camera. This is something that I just learned from the HGTV when we worked with the property realtors and they came in town. They go for texture and color. Yeah, that's what you want. Animal skin, the throws, the furry pillows, texture really pops on camera. Yeah, that's better than furniture. And I don't want people focusing on the furniture. We want to focus on the features of the O. And that's what we're emphasizing. And a big benefit of staging is really emphasizing the fireplace or the lovely lighting fixtures or the high ceilings in a room. And that's what you want to emphasize. And staging does that.
So, talking more about that, when a home buyer walks into a home, what do you want them to feel, see, hear, experience?
Um, you want them to come in, and of course, you have to have that mirror or a nice light fixture or that piece of art at the front door in the entry area, because they like to see themselves sometimes. And literally see themselves. We're drawing them in, yeah. And so you're creating almost like what I call walking paths, because right now they're coming through this home, they're coming through that front entry, seeing the really pretty office, but also they see the dining, and then they go into the living. And nowadays, as I said, the exterior spaces are very important now more than ever. And especially here in Atlanta, we have seasons. And so this all opens up. This whole living space, believe it or not, in this home that we're sitting in, there's bifolding glass doors that open all the way up to the outdoor deck area. And that's a COVID thing because we all were hanging out outdoors because we couldn't go anywhere. But nowadays, this is the new family living space, is the living area near the kitchen. And so we're creating that walking path through here. And then, of course, staging most of the primary bedrooms are upstairs. So you keep going, another nice piece of art maybe in the stairwell and keep going on up. And then they're kind of like thinking, it gets their emotions starting like, this looks interesting. And it's again emphasizing these are nice 5-inch wood flooring. There's a beautiful crystal fireplace in here. There's some really unique lighting in here. And you're not looking at it now, but there's some really interesting color in the powder bath. She's got a pop of wallpaper, which wallpaper is making a comeback a little bit. So you might see some pops of that on that fifth wall, which is the ceiling. So it's
Modern wallpaper, not
yes. So it's really creating kind of a lifestyle of how they might want to live. And right now we're in a $2.8 million home, so this is very luxury kind of feeling. Yes, but also family oriented as well.
definitely. What do you have any anecdotes or stories? Just an example of a home that you've worked with that just had a really worked out really well. They brought you in, and your services just made all the difference.
There has been some interesting things because builders tend to do some trendy things and then it might go in the wrong direction. And so there was a builder that had a completely black kitchen, all black cabinets, hardware black, backslash was all black. And he had the beautiful flooring, just like in here, light colored flooring. He had the crystal fireplace. He had it all. He's like, I don't understand what is going on. I got all the light fixtures. Everything looks fabulous. What is wrong with my house? I heard you were highly recommended, and I'm calling in a stager. I've never done this before. And this actually in the home we're in, the builder has never, ever had to use home staging before. This is the first time. So they're a little nervous, they're anxious, and they don't know what to expect. And so my stager, being an interior designer 30 years, walks in, beautiful house. But you know what the problem is? I hate to tell you, this kitchen. It's a beautiful kitchen and it might be trending, but this is the problem is your kitchen is too dark. For Atlanta, it's too dark. And she's done lots of homes in the Brookhaven and all over in the high end areas. So basically, they ended up changing out the backsplash, making it a lighter color of a herringbone. And we came in and brought in the staging, and it looked 10 times better. It was brighter. We coordinated even the bar stools to go with a brighter color. And he was ecstatic.
I love it.
Yeah, because the builder was just like, they want to get it off the books. They want to move on to their next project. That he was just like, okay, I get it now. It's like some sellers, they just don't see the vision. And then we start to stage and bring in furniture. And then they go, oh, this looks really good. Maybe I don't even want to leave now. Yeah. We're like, "Damn it, I don't even know if I want to sell the house now." We're like, wait a minute, it's too late. We've already staged it. It moved out.
Some sellers can't see the vision, and some home buyers
Yes.
to not see vision.
It's a little bit of both.
Some people don't have the imagination that yeah, we think that they.
So again, that's just a note to say sometimes the trends don't always. Not everybody goes for the trend. You have to be careful. Again, you want to appeal to that broader range of buyers.
There's many people to do.
Yeah,
Potentially envision themselves and their families living here.
yeah, because not everybody likes certain trends.
So we talked about your designer from Zan. You walk through the homes, you pick the particular rooms that you think will benefit the most, or was staying in your bucket, you will. Yeah. So if the home doesn't sell right away, how long does the staging, the furnishings stay in place?
We do a 2-month staging option. Some things sell pretty quickly, depends on the neighborhood. Up to 3 month. 3 month is typically a minimum, and we like to kind of do an all-inclusive fee. Focusing on those main rooms, the living, dining, kitchen, primary bedroom, and we offer the 2 different types of packages. So I say 2 different packages, meaning some staging companies may have packages for $500,000 homes and under, maybe a package that's suited more for a higher luxury like this home, in the million range or plus. And so there's a little bit of a price difference. So I don't really go by the piece. I kind of do more, let's start with the base of rooms. And then if there are any additional rooms, it'll be so much to add on. So that whole house to flex space where we really want to help people. Breakfast area, office space, flex space, family room, basement area, things like that.
And what happens to the furnishings once the home sells?
Once a home sells, we actually have a great tool online. We had an instant staging quote tool that you might have seen already, but we have also a under contract notice tool on our website, and they give us a 14-day notice to get on our schedule to remove the staging. And so we come in, remove all the furnishings. We do utilize some nails on the walls for our wall hangings, but do a light sweep out the door, lock everything back up, and try to do it after the contingency periods possibly are over, not remove it too soon. Things can happen. Everybody. Oh, yes. Yeah. So we make it a very smooth process. Being 20 years, my husband and I running a business, we kind of know the good, the bad, the ugly, and we've got it to a point where we make it super easy for our clients.
So I know a big part of, as you've touched on, staging is making sure that you are drawing people's eyes to the architectural features of a home and making sure they're noticing and falling in love with the right things. Could you walk and talk with us through this home and show us some of the things that you've done to that?
Sure.
Yeah.
So the builder has given us a beautiful home for you to stage. Can you just talk us through some of the things you've done to draw people's eye and attention to what you want them to pay attention to?
Sure. When you have a big open space like this in the kitchen, of course, we got some beautiful lighting here. One thing that the builder did ask, and actually his wife is a designer, she's the one that picked out all these details, the lighting, and everything as well. And so she requested that we bring in stools that didn't have a back on them, because she didn't want it to block any of the beautiful, I mean, it's an all white kitchen. We have our brushed gold here, hardware with the lighting as well, and then a little bit of light colored wood. The texture is really unique. Also, this is very popular. I don't know if anybody's been to the show houses, but I go to the holiday show house, the spring show houses in Atlanta, and so having this texture around the air vents in the kitchen is really big right now. And so I love it because it just looks very clean. We did a little bit of splash of green. Obviously, it just adds a little bit of warmth. I did a little bowl with the fruit in it. We usually do a little cookbook behind us here, cutting board, a little bit of cutting boards and things, just keeping it clean and simple. Did some place settings as well, which is pretty typical as what you would see in a model home type setup. I just like to have a little place setting. It adds some character as well. And so I think it turned out really nice.
I like how you chose a really nice pop of color in one spot, and that's the picture in the kitchen eat-in area, just to draw people's eye,
Yep.
to keep it going past the gorgeous light fixtures and the beautiful counter. Hey, there's even more space over
Right.
here.
Yes, there's lots of cabinet space in here. It's a very spacious kitchen. You could do entertaining. Of course, in this large home, you could probably fit maybe another stool in here and make it 5, but I try not to cram it in too much. We've got a breakfast area that can seat at least 6 or even more if you wanted. And then, of course, when we do living spaces too, we like to kind of leave it open, having the couches facing each other and not in front of the fireplace here, so that it doesn't block, but also it's great for the video photo guy, so that he's not taking a picture of the back of a couch as well, but also emphasizing now our fireplace is not lit right now, but if it would be, it is in the photos actually of this home that's listed online. And they ended up, I did make a recommendation to possibly get a TV there, because there actually, when I came in to look at the house originally, there was nothing there. It was very blank. And so the great thing about TV now, you could hook it up to your app or your phone or whatever and pop a little fireplace scene up there if you wanted to, or some holiday or whatever music, or what's going on right now. There's just a bit of graphics to make it something visual. You could also even put on the volume and have a little bit of music playing too. This works really well if there's an agent wanting to have a caravan, but also sellers that just want to add that little bit of special touch. Maybe it's something, an incentive that you throw in to sell with the house, which they probably will end up probably doing. Instead of us putting a piece of art there, I didn't really want to do that, because this is kind of the living space, family hangout. We could do a piece of art, somebody could do that, or, you know, if there's all that new art that looks like that hides a TV. But a little bit of decor, still make it look spacious. We Did an animal skin rug on the flooring here too. Just to add a little bit of texture, you can do a lot of layering. Rugs, you can layer rugs on top of each other, give it some texture. And then added a little bit of color through the pillows, a little bit more of green in here. It just seemed to be a color that was kind of a theme, sort of. There's the powder bath here has green walls. And so there was a little bit of that going on. And so we kind of continued that out into here in the living space. Definitely the artwork is big. Yeah, we definitely wanted to utilize some big pieces of art to make it look that luxe gallery almost kind of feel too.
Oh, it definitely has that. I love how you have a few items on the built-ins on either side of the fireplace to, again, draw people's eye to those built-ins that do stay here. They are built into the home.
Yeah, it's nice so that they're, because sometimes builders don't even put anything there. They just leave it empty. So if it's empty and there wouldn't be any of those cabinets in there, then you would have to put some form of console tables of some nature and kind of fill in as well. But it's nice that they went ahead and did the built-ins there, which is a nice feature. Again, adding value to the house. Once again, they did that, and I think it's very important.
And by setting the items over there, you're featuring that, highlighting that, making sure people see it and are aware of it.
Games, family, you know, all kinds of stuff. Perfect spot for the games and things for family, so that has that potential.
With this wall of doors, the indoor-outdoor space can become one on pretty days, which we have a lot of in Georgia.
That's my favorite part of the whole house, because I'm actually not from Georgia, I'm from Florida, so I love that all the way. Now, I don't know if you're going to be able to open it all there, but it does open up and fold all the way out, and would open up and create a big space. Again, we have seasons here in Atlanta, so when spring, summertime, it'll be great for entertaining, having the kids out. They could do a barbecue outside or be by the fire, and maybe even put another TV of some nature outside potentially, and have, you know, play some movies and things like that too.
And you've kept the general vibe with the neutral colors and a few pops of green continuous throughout this whole space.
Yeah, actually the builder's wife did want to purchase some furnishings for outside, and so we made some recommendations, and she went and got all kinds of things and continued it right out there too, along with us. It's again a teamwork type thing. You know, we just don't come in and kind of run the show. It's a team effort to work with a real estate agent and possibly a builder or seller or owner, because they know more about the house than we do. But at the same time, we want to make sure that we're all on the same page, and that we definitely reflect how you're marketing the home, target market, price point, area of town. That's all really important, and that also has to be taken into consideration when staging a home, of course.
Can you show us some things you intentionally did, decisions you made in some other parts of the home?
Yeah, I mean, the dining area, since we have this huge light piece, which is a conversation piece, it's the what we call in the design business the jewelry possibly of the room here. I didn't want to take away from that, so we did a very soft, very easygoing kind of dining table, chairs, nothing too fancy, but I just wanted to do a nice, this is actually a brand new tray that's like a bone type tray there, something very simplistic. I didn't want to even do any decor, no flowers, nothing there, because I didn't want to take away from the light fixture here, and just kind of give it a piece of, a nice piece of art. And also showed the potential. We actually moved 2 console tables together there, so that people could definitely do one all the way across. And then of course, they have this beautiful little wet bar set up here, and the light fixtures and the tile background that they have. The backsplash is my favorite part.
Yes.
It's really unique because it's also, again, metallic. Metals are very still in.
Which you reinforced with the
yeah, so we bring in a little bit. Now, actually, I think the builder might have brought in a couple of wine and some beverage type things there, but we definitely brought in glasses. We do napkins. My luxury home stager is all about just a little bit of a splash of greenery and a nice, you know, flower arrangement that's very simplistic and classy.
Can you show us the pantry? Do you stage a pantry?
The pantry, yeah. I would tell you this powder bath is very unique.
Wow, yes.
Now, again, green, very popular here in Atlanta. There's that 5th wall She did a very pretty wallpaper. I will say wallpaper, as I mentioned, coming back. Just a touch, not really going to be in a lot all in the bathroom. Again, if you are going to do an accent wall, a wallpaper or a paint color is good as an accent. You can get away with this in a powder bath, but probably not the primary bathroom. Yeah, so because it's just a hint and it's a little bit customized. You have to be careful when you do that, but I think it's okay. It's not like...
So we've got floor to ceiling, emerald green walls in this half bath, and the wallpaper has those peacocks?
Peacocks, yes. Looks like in there. And I love the lighting in here. It's really thin black lighting, and the mirror is really pretty too. And they have a little bit of under lighting in there as well.
And you and your team brought in
we
some
didn't
texture,
do too
like
much. Yeah, we love the texture. And then again, a nice
fur
piece
rug.
of floral, and then a couple of hand towels, and then a little bit of the coloring of the blues that are in the wallpaper we brought in, and just a very simple wall hanging there. We don't really go overboard too much in the bathrooms. Keep it simple. Kind of hotel white bathroom dressings is what we typically suggest. Now there's a lot of those other spaces, and so you always just want to give a hint of, obviously this is going to be the pantry area, maybe a cooking station area or a prepping station area as well. That's off the kitchen. Some of these are actually right in the kitchen. There is a lot more of these type of areas, and kitchenette type or wet bar type areas. You're going to start to see more of these specialized. And so a little bit of plates, a little bit of vases, again, cutting board. It's really just to give a hint of, obviously this is where somebody might have a nice organized plates and utensils, and maybe the snacks for the kids and things like that in the drawers. I have a friend who's a professional organizer, so I've seen some photos of homes that she's done, and they're all organized with the waters and the snacks and everything. And this would be what would take place in this area as well.
So these extra accessories show the depth of the cabinetry, how much room there is. It helps draw people's eyes up. This is very large space.
Yeah, it's a really big space. And again, keeping it neutral and clean, and I think it just gives a little bit of a hint of hominess as well.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Shall we go upstairs?
Sure.
The office.
Office space set up here. And the office space here, they kind of went with all white. And I really didn't want to bring in too big of a rug because it would make the space look small, I think. So I like the kind of animal skin. Obviously you could fit a bigger desk in here. You could do some built-ins. This just kind of shows the potential of the room. And being at the front of the house, it could be a sitting area, den area, but they wanted it set up as an office. You could shut it off. It actually could be a bedroom, to be honest. It's got double doors, and we have a full bathroom in here and closet space. So potentially it is a bedroom, but in some instances, at the front bedroom or maybe a front living space, could be shown as an office space. Again, it's a flexible room. Just depends on, again, target market, how the agent or whoever wants to market the property.
You're showing people it's most likely use.
Yes, most likely use. That's a good way to word it. Yeah, cool.
Now we're in the primary suite. What are some of the intentional choices that you made in here to really show off this space?
Sure. Again, this, believe it or not, is actually a king bed. It's very rare that we do, but we put two twins together and made it a king. I think that because of the price point of the house, I really wanted to go overboard a little bit with the staging here and show off the spaciousness of this room. Obviously, this is the primary bedroom. You want it to show off, and they have this beautiful accent wall. This is really big. Even in the show houses that I went to, the holiday show house, they had this beautiful accent wall in the master bedroom. So again, even though we have textured molding on this wall, you can put artwork on there. We usually get permission from the owner of the property to make sure that's okay, that we can put some hole in there. Artwork, again, just really brings the room together. The swirls, which I love, it's very similar to the light fixture in here. It's got some swirl. I like bringing in and kind of just draping the throw across in the bedroom and onto an ottoman of some nature. You could put chairs here as well. We kind of put the chairs off to the side here. It's a really pretty, now we're higher up. And so in the springtime, this is really going to be pretty. Right now, there's not a lot of leaves on the tree, but it'll all fill in. And this will even be a prettier view. So again, it's kind of nice that there are no draperies and wall hangings, because now you're seeing that we're a little higher up, and this is a beautiful area here in Brookhaven. Lots of vegetation around. And the spaciousness of the room, you could do a couch here, you could do a lot more things here. There's also this kind of little nook here where they could put another TV. It's kind of unique. You could display whatever, artwork or maybe decorative items or collective or that somebody might have or own. And I love the shelving in here. So the room has a lot of potential as far as other things that you could add to it if you wanted to, and bring in your own large. You have a good size TV if you wanted to do that as well, and you can add plenty of room to add more furniture. We just kind of show one way to how to lay out. Obviously, the accent wall is where the bed should go. Again, that is a purpose of the builder there. I like the fact you can open up the windows too, which is kind of nice. Again, we do a mirror above a dresser to bring in light from outside and just reflect a little bit of that vegetation that's out there. There's still some green trees out there, so it kind of reflects back in. And again, shows off the luxury features of the home.
You're definitely reinforcing that this is a luxury home, a luxury space, and you've definitely shown the scale. This is a very large room, very high ceilings, and the furnishings show that it can accommodate a king-size bed, room for a seating area, but at the same time, you are not blocking any of the view or any of that light, which you talked about was so important. And I love how the art you chose does reinforce this light fixture that of course does stay and convey with the home, and that's so unique and so pretty. Very smart.
I think it worked out really well.
We've moved into the primary ensuite bathroom. This is a beautiful bathroom. I see this trend I'm starting to see of these, what is this, a bathtub in the shower room? Is this what you would call it?
Yes. They're expanding, they're getting bigger, and the tub is very popular in all different shapes, sizes, colors.
My 5-year-old would have so much fun in that bathtub, kicking and splashing and blowing bubbles, and just being able to let the water go everywhere. I would love to see him be able to play in there.
There's a great magazine that I get called Kitchen and Bath Trends magazine, and I love reading through it because it does show off. There is a huge conference they have in Las Vegas, which is KBIS conference, which is kitchen and bath for designers that come to, and it's so cool to kind of see some of the neat features. Now again, you'll notice in here there is the brushed brass kind of look. It's not gold, it's the brushed brass. And so again, when we do some staging in big bathrooms like this, you could go overboard. I could bring in a lot more stuff, but to me, I just was like, I don't even want to touch anything in here because it's just so pretty. We keep it simple. Hotel white bathroom dressings, just as if you're at a spa hotel. That's how I kind of like to stage the bathrooms. I just didn't want to really take away from just looking at this beautiful vertical tile. The lighting is gorgeous, and of course the mirrors. It's just so detailed. I didn't even want to bring anything really in to distract from that. We just did a little touch of something, because really, again, the staging in a bathroom here is more for the photos. But we did bring in a beautiful piece of art that is reflected in the mirror and kind of has the golds that are in the bathroom here, and put a little bench just to give an idea of there's so much that you can do with the space. You could do a huge another fur type rug in here if you wanted to, but it's just so detailed and unique, and the flooring, the tile, the coloring, they did go all out. And so sometimes you don't want to what we call overstage. We kind of make it very simplistic, and I like clean lines. And again, just give it a little bit of an elegant touch and that hotel-like feeling.
So reinforcing the elegance and the luxury that goes with the rest of the theme of the home, and the texture that's so inviting.
Yeah.
Inviting people to come move in.
I know, and it's one of those things where sellers are like, well, when they get quotes, I see them check marking everything. I'm like, Mr. Seller, don't worry, you don't need to stage the whole entire house. You just need to stage, again, those main areas that are very important. And these days it is living, and to be honest, the living, the kitchen, and the primary bedroom is the big ones. The dining is still questionable, but it's still there. Maybe it'll make a comeback because those kitchen islands are getting larger, as we know. But the bathrooms are getting larger. They're becoming more luxe. Again, I think that's just a millennial type influence there. They're wanting all the bells and whistles once again.
So final thing I like to tell people is to remember to pre-pack your valuables, which people think about their jewelry, cash, firearms, or things they know to pack up, put away. People don't always think about alcohol, fancy wine, maybe something they want to put away and pre-pack, except for the occasional decanter that's part of staging is fine. But also I suggest putting knives away in the kitchen and prescription medication, making sure in an occupied home you're going to have people coming through. It's something people don't think about. Go ahead and put that not in the medicine cabinet, not on the counter. Try to pack that away.
Valuables, putting away, high-end valuables is definitely suggested, especially when you get around different holidays and things like that too. And when it gets a little darker out, making sure lighting is on as well, or any sensor type lights. I always suggest if they're going to be living there somewhat, but not really all the time there, then making sure there's some timers on the lights as well.
Oh, I love that.
And putting a timer on a light, maybe one in the living, maybe one in a bedroom, maybe the light is on underneath of a microwave or sink of some nature, just so it shows a little bit that somebody is there to kind of deter from anything, especially when dealing with vacant houses too. That is even more significant there. Making sure that alarms are on and doors are all locked and things like that too is very
You've spent all the time,
wise.
right, yes. You spent all the time to pre-pack, neutralize, get your home looking really good. You're going to do the best you can to keep it as clean as you can, but we understand you're still living there. And of course, once those photos are taken, that's critical that everything be perfect, if you will. But once people are coming through, having showings, it's different. It's okay if there's soap sitting out by the sink. What final tips do you have? The lighting, having some lights on timers, being able to turn lights on. What other final tips do you have for when it comes down to showings to make the home show really well?
Just obviously during the day when it's really pretty, that time of the day is probably best. Evening showings could be a little tough, but sometimes the house looks gorgeous at night as well. I love to see the photos that show the house during the day and at night, and also to those exterior spaces as well. I think they're very important here in Atlanta. Sometimes they're even really pretty at night, especially if it's in a townhome that has a top roof, balcony type rooftop deck of some type. Those are great and really pretty to look at in the day, but also at night, especially if you have the city skyline here in Atlanta. And again, it just boils down to, it's really going to be about the photos in the end. We're doing more storytelling, there's social media these days. And so video, I'm sorry, but it's just the most important.
Absolutely.
And you just want to make sure that, cords are hidden and the little toys and things like that are also hidden, and just making it as perfect, obviously, as show ready. Imagine it being a model home, basically, is kind of the goal.
For the photos, that's the goal for the photos, yeah, for sure. All right, where can people find you?
Yeah, so No Vacancy Home Staging has a website, novacancy-atl.com. We also have a second new domain name website at stagingatlanta.com, which is coming out as we'll be celebrating 20 years staging homes in Atlanta.
We're
excited.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
This was so fun.
Yes.
Thanks for joining us on How to Sell Your Atlanta Home with Sage and Grace. I'm Judy Jernigan, and I love helping homeowners sell smarter with less stress and better results. Who do you know with real estate questions? Please connect us so we can make confident, well-informed decisions and get the best possible outcomes together. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a 5-star review. It helps more homeowners get the smart strategies they need for a successful sale. Head to sageandgracere.com to learn more about working with me and the Sage and Grace real estate team. Explore all our show episodes, and when you're ready, book a chat directly with me, Judy Jernigan, moving you forward with sage advice and grace.